So hello, everybody. Welcome to today's device management interface call. It's going to be the last one for the year and the last one for the 2.9 release. As usual, the call is public and recorded and will be shared live on YouTube. So please be mindful of the comments you make and the information you share. So first of all, I wanted to bring up the topic of the 2.9 release of Volta. Currently, the plan is ongoing to release Volta 2.9 tomorrow. With all the elements that were in the roadmap. We achieved the results we wanted, so that is really good. What we also considered doing, I wanted to talk with the group here about this, is releasing we already released the 1.1.1 of the device management interface for Volta. And I believe that it is fine for us to link it with the 2.9 release, meaning explaining that with Volta 2.9, if you use 1.1.1, that is fine, and you'll get a working solution for the device management interface. Would that be okay with everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Great, perfect. Okay, so I have not heard back from Amit on the startup of on the extensions of the DMI for the last update time of the image. I've not heard back from him, but again, we can wait for that, and we can decide on the next year meeting. Given that you're here, Chandra, I wanted to hear how's the Rallis's progress in all of these elements. If you have anything to share about the progress that you're doing with the open DMI agent or things like that.
Andrea, we are yet to resume. Currently, we are not working. So I was under impression that like Rajas communicated to you, but
yes.
nevertheless I can reach out. Yeah. Okay.
No. He communicated. I just wanted to know if there was anything that if there was any change. It's totally fine. I know everything that is going on. And I know you guys have other priorities at the moment, but I was just wondering about the progress there. If you made anything, or while doing other things, you find out elements for the device management interface that might have to be changed. But that's okay. I think it's totally fine right now as it is.
Yeah, nothing at the moment from this point. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. On the NNI speed, I think the operators at the moment only configure it one time at the boot of the device, and it's not expected to be configured at runtime. So I believe including it in the startup configuration is fine, so that the device starts up with the 40 gig or 100 gig interface. So I think we can go for that solution.
Yes, I have the same understanding as well. I think at the boot time, if you're able to set it through a static file, it is good enough. We have not really come across anything to be changed in the runtime.
Okay, so we just need to make sure that we document this. So I'll take an action item on myself to document this. Okay, so oops. I'll do that, and I don't think there is any major issue in at the moment that needs to be changed from our DMI. So there is no need for the new API to be present. But if you want to change the port speed, you just go ahead, change the startup configuration, and at that point it would be changed the next on the next. Good. Okay, perfect.
Andrea, I have one question regarding this NNI port speed configuration. Is this requirement coming from any of the operator? Like, what is the source of this point?
Yeah, the requirement actually came from us at ONF while testing things, because we do have several devices within ONF that we test with, and all of them have 25, 10, 25, 40, and 100G capability. And some of our aggregation switches that we use in the pods to use the same BNG and things like that, or 40 or 100. And many times we found ourselves to be changing the port speed for that. And so defining a way that we can use to change the port speed was important to us, and also to the operators, because they want a way that they can configure that easily.
Thanks for the insight.
Yeah, makes sense. No problem. Okay. So I think after documenting this, it's going to be good enough. Great. Okay. Multi-NNI support. I don't think I don't have any more updates here, but the action item was from your team to document some more details about your requirement on this one.
Yes, Andrea. We did some discussion on the same. We need to have the support for enable and disable of the NNI ports. And that I think you already captured. And second point is, for the upstream traffic, we should be able to perform the selection of the NNI port. For example, this particular VLAN should be made available on this particular NNI port going towards this BNG. So we should be in a position to select the NNI port for the upstream traffic. So that is one requirement.
Okay.
Selection of NNI ports for the upstream.
Yeah. Okay.
And next one is we need to definitely support the alarms and statistics for the NNI port. So is it already taken care, the alarms and statistics / metrics for the NNI port?
I would have to check. Definitely alarms, if you pull the transceiver and things like that, I believe so. Statistics and metrics are a little bit more in doubt. Let me take an action item on myself and check. I mean, and in the case it is, we just need to extend it to include more metrics if need be, or to include more ports, because you could have an NI1 and NI2 or and so on. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. On the selection of NNI port, as of today, I understand from Volta perspective, you have the flows that are mapped from the uniport of the ONU to the logical NNI port, right? It is a single logical NNI port currently.
Yes.
The SDN sees as a programmable switch.
Yes.
So now how do we select the NNI ports? For example, how do you make the physical NNI ports participate along with the logical NNI? That is something from the way that we want to understand.
So that's that is a very good question, because there's a couple of ways we could do it. One way is that ONOS or the controller still sees only one NNI port, but if there are multiple NNI ports, I would be okay having multiple NNI ports at the controller level. So that could yield the fact that you either would have to specify your preferred NNI port, or like your current output NNI port before you issue a set of provision subscribers. So I would envision a earlier step saying something like NNI2 as upstream port, something like that. And we use the first one if it's not specified. Or you specify it on a per subscriber basis. We could allow that to include that port in the API of the provision subscriber call, to include the NNI port. So it's kind of one of these things, I would say. It's just a configurable element. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let's say take an example. One of the customer traffic has to flow through, let's say, NNI1 on VLAN ABC, and another subscriber 2 traffic has to flow through NNI port 2, let's say VLAN XYZ. So two different NNI ports participating in different VLANs. And now the logical NNI has to be like connected to this, right? Like via switch maybe. Yeah, how do you want to see this? Like
again, as I said, if these are two separate NNI ports of the OLT, meaning like two physical NNI ports, I would be okay exposing them to ONOS. So the controller knows the logic and knows which subscriber can go where. So especially because we're not talking, which is the next point, we're not talking about lag here, but more about multiple physical ports. It's like actually showing multiple ports to the controller.
Okay, understood. So you are fine with like the SDN controller to see multiple NNI ports, and we should be able to configure, okay, this flow from this UniPort to this NNI port. Okay.
Yes. Or you could say, I don't care, just you configure one and it's going to be for all of the subscribers. I would be okay with both.
Sure. And one question regarding the VLANs, like we may need to apply the configuration. Okay, this NNI port should participate in this VLAN. So how do we make such configuration?
So that's a very good question. I think that how we can do that is that it would be announcing the controller or the apps and things like that. This is on the Volta side. This is not really the DMI, in my opinion, unless you think that it's on a device. It's on the device. Configuration needs to sit on the device. But since this is programmable, I think we can have that mapping in ONOS or the controller. And when a new subscriber comes, if it checks the VLAN that is used for the subscriber, goes into the mapping that was provisioned, like, okay, VLAN 900 go to port 1226 or something like that. VLAN 1000 go to 10,225. It checks that mapping and then uses the right port.
Yes, I understood, Andrea. That is like mostly about the flow configuration from the like SDN controller. But how do you make the NNI port participate in that VLAN construct, like VLAN construct applied on the NNI port?
What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate for me? Like, what do you mean participate in the VLAN construct? That is defined in the rule that you use, or do you mean for like management?
It is about management. Apart from the flow rules, it is about the management of the NNI port. Do we have to create a VLAN config on that NNI port?
Well, yes. So right now for the inline configuration, the config is created on the NNI port beforehand, even before connecting to Volta, because otherwise there is no way we can manage that.
Yes, yes. In very similar lines for the subscriber traffic, when there are multiple VLANs associated, right, to segregate particular traffic. So doing the VLAN configuration per NNI port, yeah. I would not say management VLAN. It is actually the subscriber VLANs.
Yeah, but you
but
the subscriber VLANs we can do via per subscriber flows when they get pushed down. Unless I'm missing something, you don't need a static configuration for the VLAN on a port. You just use whatever it gets sent down by the controller for tagging and then outputting on a certain port.
Okay, let's take an example of a double tagged traffic.
Yes.
Let's say
yes.
One of the tag is applied at either the CP device or let's say the ONU itself, and you
Yes.
want the second tag to be applied on the OLT. Now, what
Yes.
you are saying is, let's say the data traffic before it is fed to the NNI, somebody needs to apply the outer tag, right? The second tag.
Yes.
So once you apply that tag, that has to egress through the NNI port. So are you saying no special configuration needed to egress through the NNI port? If it is already tagged, it should just be sent out.
If it's already double tagged, yes. I mean, the whole point is that the OLT tags the packet and it sends it out a port. The port per se should do nothing if it's already double tagged, and we are not supporting that use case of the port retagging the packet. It's tagged in the OLT.
Okay. Yeah, then we should be good. I just wanted to check if anything needs to be again taken care as a management of the NNI port. Yeah. If you're like sure that like NNI port doesn't have to take care of anything, it has to just forward, it's good.
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I didn't mean about the management VLAN as such for the NNI, but maybe
okay.
Yeah, this is not from me. Okay. And one more thing, because we are exposing the enable and disable, let's say, for the NNI ports, so we should be very mindful about the in-band NNI port. Yeah, nobody should be able to touch that. If somebody like accidentally disable that, maybe the OLT will be unreachable and somebody has to be sent to the physical location to enable it, or some needs to be done.
Yeah, the management port is always tricky. So yes, we need to be very aware of that, and that's a discussion I would say for another day. If we need an API to set that, the requirement has not yet come in, so I think we are good to go on that front. We don't need a particular API for now.
Okay, sure. Thanks. I think these were the couple of points we wanted to bring it up with respect to multi NNI port. Yeah, maybe on the lag also we have some point, but yeah, I would request you to go through
so the lag. Okay, let's finish up the NNI. Okay, so let me take an action item on myself and figure out this alarm statistics and metrics. And then we can, but this is more really a Volta element because, yeah, it's not really the DMI that has to do anything. Maybe the only thing is this enable and disable of the ports, maybe. But that's really the only thing we need to do. The rest, all of the stuff that I see here, some of the alarms and metrics and statistics should come through Volta. Maybe some like low-level statistics could come from DMI, but not that I can think of right now. We'll see. Let me investigate this with Girish, and then we can figure it out.
And just a question to understand regarding the inventory discovery. I believe DMI already discovers all the NNI ports that are there on the device, right?
Yes.
And,
yes, the DMI
and each
does.
of those NNI port, and do we have the Volta assigning the label for those physical NNI ports, or Volta is not really taking care at the moment?
At the moment, Volta only takes care of the first one that gets reported. Number one, the top left or whatever you call it. The enabled one, as I said, however you call it.
Then there has to be some communication on the detected NNI port to Volta, so that Volta can do the labeling and make it apply to the available to the SDN controller.
The thing is that if we make them all available to the SDN controller, that is going to be fine with Volta.
Okay.
So
okay,
I think it's okay. Okay. On the lag front, I still don't have clarity from Netsia. So all of the lag and LACP, I still have very minimal clarity from Netsia. So I am also very I don't want to discuss it right now, I think, because it's not really worth it to discuss it without clarity around this topic, because we could go around in circles and not have anything concrete to discuss, actually. So my preference would be to actually discuss it when there is more clarity from the Netsia folks. I know they are working on the document and they are also discussing it internally. So they will check and tell us more information about all of this whenever they have it. I think that at the moment it's not really worth discussing this too much, because of the, as I said, uncertainty of the requirements that we have.
Yeah, sounds good, Andrea.
Okay. There was another last item on the agenda, which was talking about more startup configuration, more configurations that are done via the startup. So for now, I think that all of this, I would keep it in the startup configuration. I would not go and venture into making it configurable like at the via runtime, because it could mess up the status of the OLT. And worst case, I mean, what you do is a reboot of the OLT to reconfigure this stuff, and I don't think that is a major issue, unless somebody here has some thoughts about this.
Okay, just to understand, like currently you are saying for Actron, all of this user policies, groups, access rights, everything is via the startup config.
Yes, at least that is what I've been told by. Yeah, that is what I've been told by Michael and Holger and Holger and the rest of the folks at Antron. And I was thinking that we could keep it the same way.
Okay, yeah, sure. So for device management access, do we need any authentication authorization like that falls into the DMI, or it is outside the scope?
So
let's say
for
machine to machine.
That's a good question. Not that I know of right now. Like Volta doesn't have it.
Okay.
But let me capture
So
it. And
I
maybe
believe.
we can, yeah, maybe we can discuss it next time.
So for the Volta gRPC interface, I believe currently it is TLS and based on the static certificates that are placed on the device and
towards the device, yes. Towards the device, it is. Towards the OLT, yes. But I don't believe that like the northbound gRPC of Volta has this, unless I'm mistaken.
northbound gRPC of the device. Sorry, I didn't get it.
Northbound gRPC of the device, meaning OpenOLT agent to OpenOLT adapter, it is there.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
there. It uses TLS. The northbound of Volta, like create device, enable device, and things like that,
understood.
I don't believe those are there.
Okay, understood. Okay.
So actually, maybe it is important because here we on the DMI agent, we're talking to the device. So it might actually be good to have. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good assumption.
So are you saying that currently in the DMI interface, TLS is not in use?
On the northbound, not that I know of. We would have to ask Holger how the northbound of the device manager from Adtran communicates with DT. From my knowledge, at least, sorry, not from my knowledge. From our perspective, when we use it in our test, is not enabled. Maybe Adtran enables it with Deutsche Telekom. I don't know. We can put a question here and ask Holger the next time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, let's try and figure that out. We'll see what it brings from them. I would say. I don't know specifics about their northbound towards the DT environment. Okay, good. So those were kind of all the topics I had for today. Is there anything else that anybody wants to bring up?
Nothing from my side.
Okay. Okay, then I think we can close the meeting. But before doing that, let me wish everybody, this is going to be the last meeting of the year. So let me wish everybody very happy holidays and thanks for the contributions of this year and enjoy maybe the break over the New Year's Eve. And I'll see you again next year, where I hope we can do again great things together. So thanks, everybody.
Happy holidays and happy new year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thanks.
To you as well. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.